Wellspring by Teresa Hampton. It takes both oars. There's nothing like the calming experience of being in a boat out on the lake, the oars gently helping the boat glide forward across the water. But have you noticed? Something strange happens when only one oar is used and only on one side of the boat. You go in circles. You get nowhere. It doesn't matter how passionately you stroke the water or whether you have the right technique in paddling, you still go in circles. It takes both oars, each on a side, working in unison to propel the boat forward. The same is true in a spiritual sense when we approach God in worship. Jesus said, "God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship him in spirit and truth." John 4, verse 24. We can experience the exhilaration of emotion-driven worship, but God requires more than a spiritual feeling. If you don't believe that, just ask Nadab and Abihu, Leviticus chapter 10, verses 1 through 4. On the flip side, we can have the form of true worship, all of the I's dotted and the T's crossed, but God requires more. When Jesus entered the synagogue on the Sabbath and encountered a man with a withered hand, the Pharisees questioned whether he could lawfully heal the man's hand. Jesus replied with a few simple questions. If one of your sheep fell into a pit, would you not lift it out? How much more value, then, is a man than a sheep? He reasoned, is it lawful to do good on the Sabbath? Matthew 12, verses 9 through 13. Jesus correctly identified the Pharisees' problem. They attempted to worship God according to the law, but had lost the Spirit. When we worship God, let us engage our hearts in adoration, praise, and sober contemplation of Jesus' sacrifice. That part of worship is under our control. And let us do so with true authorized form. That part is under God's control. Remember the principle of the oars. Acceptable worship is that which we do in spirit and truth. It takes both. One without the other gets us nowhere. Today's verse, I will pray with the Spirit, and I will pray also with the understanding. I will sing with the Spirit, and I will also sing with the understanding. 1 Corinthians 14, verse 15.